time, motivate your mind. Come with me, let's make this moment brighter. Wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Come on and wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Hey.
Good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise. We are up dead early on another marvelous Monday. It's the 1st of May and I'm Mark Daniels.
And I'm Daryl Gardner, and a happy Monday to you.
Happy Monday and a happy May to you all. It's the 1st of May. I don't know why that feels significant. And it's a Monday.
I mean, it's the first of a month. It's exciting. I feel like May is like spring, summer,
Yeah.
that exciting part of the year.
It's where you finally hopefully get to toss away all of your warm clothes and throw them deep in the closet and break out your summer shorts, your summer dresses, get ready. Summer's just around the corner. You can smell it. You still got time to work on your summer body and to figure out how much money you ain't gonna spend this summer when the children are home not going to summer camp, right?
Yeah, I got a couple more summers before I have that problem.
Oh, yeah. It's now the time you start like, all right, which summer camp they're gonna go to swim camp for a week, and then they can go to science camp, then they go into art camp, then they go into church camp.
Yeah.
Shout out to all
Vacation
the
Bible
camps.
school.
There you go.
Now that I have friends who are parents, I realize like what a godsend summer camp is, because it's like what are you supposed to do with these people
Yeah.
for 3 months?
You know, back in the day, we was on the family islands, and our parents had 10 and 12 children. They go on to work on the farm. They go on in the field, they go on fishing, and then they get sent outside all day, and nature was their summer camp. But I don't know if I would send my children running around in the road in Nassau.
Unfortunately, yeah, that time I think has passed.
When they say, go out playing, and then they go outside from sunrise to sunset, and the street lights come on, and all the children automatically come on. You think you can still do that?
So it's been funny. My husband and I shout out, we had our anniversary yesterday.
Woo!
And also I have to shout out my friend Raquel. She got married this weekend. Raquel Pinder. She got married to Ricardo Miller. It was a beautiful wedding. But my husband and I have been house shopping, and I'm really bent on gated communities because I'm like, I want my kids to go outside, and I don't care. Like, they come back eventually, because that was something for me. I want to say it was slightly safer environment, but I remember after school, once I did my homework, I would go and I would play for hours, and then I would come back. And now it's like, it's so hard to just imagine telling my kids, go outside on the main road and hang out and
see you 5 hours later.
Right. When the street lights come on.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we were like that too. Summertime, we're on our bicycles, we're riding around the neighborhood, we're rambling through the bush, we have slingshots, we like shooting pigeons, right? We're just doing all kinds of outdoor things. Hopefully, kids are still doing that in the summertime.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very important, and I wonder, like, who's teaching this generation of young girls to skip and to, do hopscotch and all those things that really pass the time, for better or worse. Technology is great, but I just see a lot of kids just entertaining themselves with technology constantly, and it's like there's so much to explore outside. So make your children go outside.
Make them go outside. We can do a class on how to make slingshots. We used to take the guava stick, the little wide, and then the little leather off your bike. You cut that off, you get in trouble for that though. Or the leather off your shoe tongue, couple elastic bands. Bang! We outside all summer killing all kind of things. But that's gone and in the past. And here we are on the first Monday of the month of May, and we're so glad you're with us. We have the Department of Statistics here, and they're here to talk about their labor force survey. And also Civil Society Bahamas will tell us about their information portal for valuable financial literacy tools.
We'll hear about the new store, Candy Bumps. That sounds exciting. And we'll find out what's happening for International Midwives Day. But first, let's check on weather with Godfrey Burnside.
This is Weather at Sunrise.
Thank you, Deborah. Good morning, Bahamas. And your first look at weather at sunrise. Got a cold front went through New Providence last night, now in the vicinity of Exuma, Islands in Salvador, and moving towards the southeast. Most activities ahead of that front system, so clearing behind the system over the northwest Bahamas. So today, we're looking at partly sunny skies, still on the warm side, 1 or 2 lingering showers, but over the central southeastern islands, looking at variable cloudiness with a few showers, even the possibility of a thunderstorm, high temperature 84 degrees Fahrenheit. Tonight, we're looking at partly cloudy skies, a few lingering showers over the central and southeastern islands, your low going down to 73 degrees Fahrenheit. And some region highs and lows across the Caribbean, Barbados 88 and 79, in Jamaica 1979, in Trinidad 89 and 76, and the Turks and Caicos Islands 86 and 72. Across North America, Atlanta 68 and 47, in Boston 57 and 50, in Miami 87 and 74, Dallas, Texas 78 and 59, and Toronto, Canada 51 and 43. As you go through the week, we have a weak high pressure system that's going to be the dominant feature through the week. So we're looking at partly sunny skies, warm temperatures, slight chance of a passing shower, though temperature daytime will be in the mid-upper at daytime, at nighttime in the lower 70s. That puts you up on your first look at weather at sunrise. I'm Godfrey Burnside. Back to you, Davriel.
Thanks, Godfrey. The Department of Statistics will be collecting data for the Labor Force Survey in May. Here to tell us more is Cypreanna Winters, Assistant Director at the Bahamas National Statistical Institute. Good morning, Ms. Winters, and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Morning, and thank you. Morning, Bahamas.
So what is the mandate of the Bahamas Department of Statistics?
Well, we have been mandated to collect data so that the government and other users will have this information to make life better for us in the Bahamas. And so we have done the census. Census is finished, and we have not been able to do the labor force since 2019, 4 years now.
Wow.
Because the labor force has its life of the census, which is every 10 years. And so at the end of the census, the labor force dwellings are none in effect. And so because the census was delayed, we were not able to do it. Now, ordinarily, we would have been able to do it, but the frame has been damaged from Hurricane Dorian, and frame is the listing of all dwellings in the country. And so we know we had damages in Abaco as well as Grand Bahama. And so we were unable to do a standalone survey that would kind of fill in the gap because of the delay of the census. So we had to wait for the census to come to its end, and that results was published, the preliminary. And of course, that result showed that there were 399,300 plus people in the country. And then New Providence has about 74%, which work out to be like 296,005, with Grand Bahama having 12%, and Abaco have 4%, and the rest scattered throughout. And so once that is completed, we were able to design a new frame for the labor force survey, and that's why we are able to do that today. So it began today for the month of May.
So what is the way forward for the labor force survey?
Well, going forward, it is our intent to commence quarterly survey.
Okay.
Yeah, so as of July, we are in preparation mode, so we have not yet finalized it, but we are hoping to do the quarterly survey as of July.
What is the purpose of the labor force survey?
The purpose of the labor force survey is, first of all, to determine how many people are employed, how many people are available and looking for work throughout the country. And so hopefully we should have that results to be published by the end of June. And so the country will know the unemployment rate that people have speculated, but we have to wait for data to be able to make that statement.
And what is the reference period?
The reference period was April 24th
Okay.
to 30th, that was last week, which means that all questions except the household income question will be asked as of the reference week. So it's almost like a snapshot where you take a picture and then make a statement based on what happened during the reference week.
So who are discouraged workers?
The discouraged workers, well, first of all, we are guided by definitions that is set by the International Labor Organization, right? And so not because someone isn't working means that they are unemployed or discouraged. So discouraged workers are those persons who, while they are available and able to work, they are not seeking work, actively seeking work. Because the unemployed, 3 things must happen. You must be able to work, willing and looking for work, actively looking, meaning, register with the Department of Labor or try to establish your own business. And so if you don't fall in that category, then you are discouraged. But it's not a question we ask you, it's a series of questions
Right.
that will eventually get to that.
That lead to that assessment.
Yes.
So I've seen some interesting words. I'm going to ask, what does it refer to when you talk about the economically active population?
Those are the persons who are either employed or unemployed. So
Okay.
together they make up the labor force. But those are persons who are 15 years of age and older, who during the reference week were employed or they were actively seeking work to comprise the labor force.
So you touched on it just now, but if you could elaborate just a little bit more on what it means to be employed versus unemployed, whereas I guess how do you compare someone who's maybe a homemaker versus someone who's looking for work, not looking for work? How do those categories work?
Okay, so if you're a homemaker, means you're not part of the labor force, because the labor force is either employed or unemployed, which means that you must be willing, able, and seeking work. So if you're retired or if you're a student, full-time student that is, or if you're a homemaker, you would not be considered part of the labor force. So only those persons who are employed or unemployed make up that labor force sector.
Now you talked about how the population of the Bahamas is distributed. On which islands are you actually doing the labor force survey?
So the labor force will be done here in New Providence, in Grand Bahama, Abaco, and Bimini, along with St. Salvador, North Eleuthera, and Long Island, as of today.
And for the family island communities, what made you qualify certain communities rather than others?
Well, the labor force, we have to do a design. And again, I talked about that list of dwellings. And so the design is such that the islands that has like characteristics are grouped together and then randomly select one of those communities to make a statement for the other communities. And so together, when we concatenate the data, we can make a statement for all Bahamas.
So I can imagine, people who are carrying out this survey might find a little bit of resistance. Sometimes people really don't like to answer questions about their personal life. Talk about, why this is a good thing and why people should be open to it.
Well, it is a good thing because in order for the government, in particular, to make decisions that will affect all of us, we need to get the data from the household because it's actually a household survey. So if we don't get that information and get accurate information, then the government would not be able to do the necessary things that we are looking for, because they're able to implement programs that will enable those who are unemployed to, to find some type of employment. So we ask in public to please, though the census happened and it was a long exercise, to please bear with us and open up your gates and allow the enumerators. It's going to be very short because we are not investigating the number of variables we will normally do during the month of May because of the census exercise, and then we had the post-enumeration survey right after that, and then it's us again. But we do need this because we were not able to determine the unemployment rate since in 2019.
Wow.
And so we are well overdue to have that figure because people do projections or estimations, but we are driven by data. So we wait for the data to be able to make the statement.
What is the team doing to ensure that sensitive information remains confidential?
Well, we have the law on our side, our law, that is the Statistics Act of 2021, and it really says that it is an offense for the householder not to reply to us. And so while there are penalties, we don't normally like to enforce that, but we simply ask the householder to please open up your doors and welcome the enumerators. It's going to be very brief, so it's not going to be a long exercise.
So unfortunately, when it comes to things like these, where people are supposed to go door to door and engage with people, criminals can sometimes try to take advantage of that. How does someone know or verify that, the person at their door, it really is an enumerator from the Department of Statistics?
Well, the enumerators will be in groups of 4.
Okay.
They will be, they have their vests with the Department of Statistics at the back. They have a tablet, They have their ID that is signed by the acting managing director, Ms. Nerys Gibson, as well as the bag also has the logo of the department. And please note that the enumerators took an oath that the information that they collect will be held confidential. And so they cannot divulge the information that the householders share with us. And we as a department cannot even share that, not even in a court of law, all right, because the information was intended for that purpose and that purpose only.
You know, this has been a really educational conversation for me. You know, I understand the importance of statistics, but I think a lot of people don't really understand how that plays out in our daily lives and why it's so important for us to participate. So thank you so much for sharing with us.
Thank you. Thank you, Bahamas.
And thank you for watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Melissa, and I'm a survey enumerator with the Bahamas National Statistical Institute, or BNSI. During the month of May, we will be conducting the labor force survey on various islands, including New Providence, Grand Bahama, Abaco, Long Island, Bimini, San Salvador, and North Eleuthera.
You might be wondering, why is this survey important? Well, it helps us to determine the number of employed individuals, those seeking work, and the size and location of the labor force. This information is used by the government, businesses, researchers, and students to make informed decisions and plan for the future. We know that your time is valuable, which is why we've made the survey as simple and easy as possible. And don't worry, all the information you provide is confidential.
Your participation will help us gather accurate information that will benefit everyone in the Bahamas.
Please remember that our survey enumerators will be uniformed in orange vests with the Department of Statistics written on them, as well as photo IDs.
So if we visit your dwelling, please welcome us and help us gather accurate information. Thank you for your cooperation and being a part of shaping the future of the Bahamas.
Push-to-talk device is a beautiful device. It operates on our world-class cellular network. You can take pictures, you can take videos, you can put your persons in different groups. If they want the engineering team to have a different communication than the finance team or the security team, you can do that with the push-to-talk device. And that's not something that you can actually do with a regular communications radio device. We have several different types of devices. There's the 380, the 580 plus, and then there's the 590 plus, which is the top of the line device.
I used to think of the bank as my personal ATM machine. If I wanted a new car, new furniture, a weekend trip to Miami, no problem, just max out the credit card or top up my loan. I was a big baller until I realized that 75% of my salary was going to pay back all those loans. Fidelity's personal financial coaching was the best solution. Fidelity gave me a plan with a debt consolidation loan that has a built-in savings that pays 5% interest. I now only have one low monthly payment plus money in my pocket. Give Fidelity Bank a call at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport. Visit any of Fidelity's locations or visit a website at fidelitygroup.com.
Hi, I'm Ria Christina, and I'm super excited to be the new host of You and Your Money, local international banks that has actually been closing some of their branches. It actually gives me an opportunity to share my views, my take on the financial matters. Even when we think about what's happening globally, we still have a lot of work to do in terms of having to educate business owners as to the importance, the economic impact, and how it is that we can look at improving the Bahamian economy. $1 billion. That's how much we spend every year importing food in this country. It also gives me an opportunity to have conversations, and that's meaningful conversations with thought leaders within our community, even having to see how it is that we can work together or even the opportunities that may exist for many Bahamians. So I'm excited to be here and looking forward to the great conversations that's to come.
the islands of the Bahamas. Fly away.
Welcome back. Civil Society Bahamas, or CSB, advocates for good governance and policies that seek to engage and affect change. They have a new project conducting research about personal and national debt in the Bahamas and an exciting new portal with valuable financial information for everyone. Here to tell us more are Dr. Anthony Hamilton. He's the president of Civil Society Bahamas. We have Marilyn Zonicle. She's the vice president of Civil Society Bahamas. And Brendon Johnson, co-founder of the Atlantic Tech Hub, LLC. Good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Good morning.
Thanks.
Glad to be here.
Thanks for being here dead early. I don't know if you usually being up this early, but we're always here at the studio, so thank you for joining us. I guess let's start off with you, Dr. Hamilton. Who is CSB?
Civil Society Bahamas is the apex body for civil society organizations for the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Speaking to the fact that all the NGOs, we use NGOs and CSOs interchangeably. NGOs are non-governmental organizations or civil society organizations. And you'd be familiar with them in light of the fact that Dorian is a classic example of how critically important NGOs are to the country. You'd recognize that during the Dorian experience, we had international NGOs simultaneously with the local NGOs making significant contribution to the well-being of the citizenry in terms of recovery. Abaco and Grand Bahamas experience, New Providence. And speaking further to that, recognizing that it's a tripart governance entity, speaking to relationship with the government and the citizenry. Particularly, principally, it's about people. And people are the most important assets and investments of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. So right away, we get an appreciation for the fact how critically important, because it's an asset and it's also investment, so your future. And in this instance, we're speaking about debt management, speaking to the current situation and future generations, particularly in light of the fact that we are celebrating our 50th anniversary of independence. And right away we jump into the preamble of the Constitution, speaking to indivisible unity, Christian values, spiritual values, rule of law.
Wow, and I thank you for explaining that. I think most persons don't realize the role that civic organizations play in the country, and what you mentioned about Dorian was very eye-opening. The citizenry came together, the people came together to help other people, and I love the way you placed that. Explain the debt study that you were selected to participate in by the Caribbean Policy Development Center.
Okay, Madam Zonicle is our lead in this particular project, but I'll share this. We, in conjunction with the Caribbean Policy Development Center, which is located in Barbados, and we are in joint relationship with two other nations, Antigua and Barbuda, and also Barbados along with the Bahamas. So we are fortunate to be a part of this cluster of nations addressing legacy debt on the national plane, and also we're speaking about personal debt. And incidentally, we were engaged with an event over the weekend with regard to the central bank launching of their financial literacy expo. So it dovetailed real nicely to be engaged with that. But we're speaking to the young people as well as up to the adults with regard to financial literacy.
So, Madam Zonicle, you're the lead of this project. There are 4 consultations that you're tasked with conducting. Explain those to us, please.
Okay, if you permit me, let me sort of add to what Dr. Hamilton said in terms of who and what Civil Society Bahamas is, because I think it's critical for our nation to really understand. And I just want to underscore what he said in 3 ways. 1, the civil society sector has been determined by the United Nations to be the 3rd pillar of national society or national development. That's 1. Secondly, you were kind enough to refer to our purpose and our vision in your introduction. And I just want to emphasize Article 3 of the Articles of Association of Civil Society Bahamas that persons can go online and research. And that Article 3 emphasizes that the overriding purpose of Civil Society Bahamas is for the betterment of the people of the Bahamas in every area, spiritually, economically, financially, socially, etc. And then the last thing I would say to underscore what Dr. Hamilton, our president, has said is that if you as a Bahamian are frustrated and you think the institutions from the political on down are not really giving you what you want, civil society is that avenue that you can really make a difference yourself. And now I'll come to the project, because one of the most significant things about this project is that it is giving Bahamians and the Caribbean, and as Dr. Hamilton said, we are one of 3 Caribbean countries that were privileged to be part of this pilot project by the Regional Umbrella Organization for Civil Society Organizations, as you mentioned, the Caribbean Policy Development Center, or CPDC. And as I was saying, this project, the actual name of the project is a Regional Debt Management Project. Right. And you asked me about the consultations. Yes. The project has, I would say, about 3 or 4 key deliverables. One of them is what you mentioned, you asked me about, the national consultations. And the national consultations are, the project says that, well, let me give you a little background. The regional body, Caribbean Policy Development Center, cpdcngo.org, for those who really want to go more in depth. This regional umbrella organization for civil society organizations, as I said, they do studies, as I said, the sector, the civil society sector, whether it's in the Bahamas, whether it's in the Caribbean, whether it's in Europe, they are a critical element for national development. So they do their own individual expert research. And in the Caribbean, they studied finance in the Caribbean because, as you know, in the Caribbean, we are considered to be middle-income countries, graduated from concessional financing. So obviously, finance is a key area for us to look at. So they looked at it as a priority, and they concluded that there is a silent debt crisis, that the Caribbean countries in general are on a financial precipice, and governments are not looking at it with the urgency that's required. Hence this project. They partnered with an international body that has a significant history with dealing with finance and getting results. And the project, therefore, the deliverables are, one of them is the national consultations. We are supposed to consult with the grassroots right up to the policy level of national debt about the impact of debt on each individual citizen or on the government.
Sounds like a very thorough process, right?
Yes.
And glad that we're a part of this pilot project, because people may not understand how our debt here in the Bahamas and also the debt in the region collectively influences our day-to-day experience. Absolutely. And what we're trying to do as citizens, as business owners, and so forth and so on. So lots of information is going to be gathered during the consultation period. This is where I want to bring in my tech guy here. So you're focusing on personal finance surveys, national profiles on debt, and certified financial literacy programs. But how are you gathering testimonials? How do you collect all this data?
Oh, that's an awesome question. But first, I'd like to introduce you to Atlantic Tech Hub. So we came into a collaboration with CSV in the hopes of creating technology solutions for the future of the Bahamas. Now, in regards to collaborating in creating those surveys and collecting data, we made one big debt survey. So this analyzes your current state of debt as well as where you want to be inside of your current financial state. Right. Now, that's not all the site does. Now, the site is a catalyst for financial information. Okay. Now, inside of the site, we have our vision. Our vision is financial health, but our mission is empowerment. Empowerment spiritually, mentally, as well as materially. Now, we have 4 T's on our menu. The 4 T's deal with tools, talents, templates, and training. Now, inside of each of those 4 menus, you get an access to a plethora of information. Now, inside of tools, you get access to budget calculators, you get access to mortgage calculators, you get access to loan calculators, and other tools that are necessary for you to calculate your financial health. Now, inside of templates, you get access to templates such as budgeting worksheets, access to Government of the Bahamas, information portals such as things accessed on SBDC, like your business plan, templates, and so forth. Inside of the talents portion, you get access to top professionals such as CPA Clayton Gardner or Miss Gabrielle Pratt, who deals with children's books. You also get access to kids' financial resources. it's so important for us to start early saving and making sure that we can actually build up that equity inside of our homes.
So who should use this portal and provide this information and also utilize the tools you're giving?
Now, everybody should actually utilize this portal. That stretches from the young children just starting inside of their savings journey down to a new student going to college, and then all the way up to somebody going towards retirement, just making sure that they have the preparations in place to make sure that they are ready to succeed with the rest of their life.
Fantastic. Tell us about some of your partners in this initiative that you are spearheading.
Well, the partners essentially, as Mr. Johnson said, are certified financial planners or financial experts. And just to expand a little on the talents part that he said, that part of the portal or the website is where a child to an adult, if they have a dream, a vision, investment idea, what we will do, we will channel them after a requisite screening. We will channel them to these experts so that on a hands-on way, they can help them realize that dream in a practical way. We know that there's no lack of bodies and individuals that are trying to do the same thing we're doing. Hence, I mean, the most recent significant example is the central bank's financial literacy fair and digital expo last Friday and Saturday. But what distinguishes Civil Society Bahamas is that we want to really hold your hand and focus it and really you can do it on your own, but we want to give every Bahamian who is unhappy about their financial situation, that here is someone through this portal that understands, that is empathetic, and you don't have to be embarrassed that you have challenges. We're going to walk you through it with these partners. And we're still, and I must say, we're still, Mr. Johnson mentioned a few of them, but we're still looking at, because the portal is fairly new, because we just really rolled it out publicly on Friday, but we're still looking for partners. So any financial expert, retired or current professional, who has a passion for this country to be financially healed, we welcome you to approach us to be a partner.
Fantastic. And I'm so sorry we got to wrap now, but Mr. President, before we go, one last quick word. What do you want people to know about Civil Society Bahamas as we wrap up?
Well, Civil Society Bahamas, as we indicated earlier, the apex body. But I want to bring something into play here with regard to the relationship between the civil society sector and the cooperative sector. Why? Credit unions as a part of the cooperative sector, but again, we're speaking about people. People are the most important assets in investments, and it's imperative that we help our people to be better comprehensive in understanding the finance so they can manage their individual affairs, which means collectively across the nation and the region and the world, because we are affiliated with the UK debt justice aspect as well. The important thing here is to get persons incentivized, encouraged to participate and grow.
Very well said. And I'd like to thank you all. I felt like I learned so much. We can do this all morning, but now I know we've got that nice tech hub that we can go to. We can find all of our tools, talent, training. I forgot what the 4T was, but I got to go on the website and check it out. But I'd like to thank you all for being here this morning. We have to wrap. We got to go. We can catch you guys at the end. You let me know what you want me to say, and I'll bring it up at the end.
Okay.
I'd like to thank you all for being there with us on the set this morning and learned so much. And good luck on the rest of your campaign. And I'll be looking out for that financial literacy website and looking forward to learning more.
Indeed.
Thank you all for joining us.
Well. Thank you.
You're watching Mamas at Sunrise, and we'll be right back.
Meet Leno, your bridge to the future. Wealth planning, investments, corporate services, trust services, pension administration, fund administration, outsourced accounting, and payroll. When you think of financial solutions, think of Leno. Local or international, company or individual, Leno can help. Our team of skilled professionals has the experience and expertise needed for you to strive. Your goals are our goals and our priority. Leno will guide you to the right financial solution with the knowledge, resources, and support you need. Give us a call at 242-396-3225 or email us at info@lenobahamas.com to get started. Visit our website, www.lenobahamas.com, for more information today. Leno, your bridge to the future.
Hi,
Hi, my name is Amanda Ferguson with Biggity Candle Company. With $100, we were very pleased to know that we were offered another way for customers to make payments that were digital. We don't like handling cash, the physical cash anymore. It's safer that way. I can tell you that, I won't go back. I much rather the transactions being on my phone. It's simple, it's instantaneous, and my customers have actually really loved it too.
Do business better with $100. Learn more at $100.bs.
One thing, two things, blue thing, old things, things that are small, things that are grand, things that fit just right, and in the palm of your hand. Fox Hill Nursery, a large selection of garden supplies. If you can see it in your mind, you can find it at Fox Hill Nursery.
And welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise. We are here on the first Monday of May. We're up dead early, and it is the mid show. My name is Mark Daniels.
And I'm Davriel Gardner.
And thanks for sticking with us. You can be anywhere on this early Monday, but you're with us, and we appreciate you for that. And we hope you enjoyed the first half of the show. I enjoyed my conversation with Civil Society Bahamas. Who did you speak with?
I actually spoke with the assistant director from the labor force, and that was a really educational conversation.
Yeah. 70, how much percent of the population lives in Nassau?
74%.
That's why we got so much traffic. But anyway, we got much coming up to you, coming up in the second half. We're going to hear about the new candy store called Candy Bums.
I'm excited about that, and we'll find out what's happening for International Midwives Day. But before all that, let's take a second look at weather with Godfrey Burnside.
This is Weather at Sunrise.
Davriel, good morning, Bahamas. And your second look at weather sunrise first. It's the 1st of May, and so we ask persons to start preparing for the 2023 tropical cyclone season. It starts on June the 1st. In your weather, we do have that old frontal boundary now over the central and southeastern islands, triggering off showers and thunderstorms. Weak high pressure building across the northwest Bahamas. You expect a beautiful day in store weather-wise across the northwest Bahamas. The weeks look pretty good. In your marine forecast today, those winds northwesterly at 10 to 15 knots, sea 2 to 4 feet, or the northwest Bahamas, west to northwest at 10 to 15 knots, sea 2 to 4 feet, or the central and southeastern islands, falling light and variable at times, but they can expect gusty winds and high seas locating those heavy showers and thunderstorms. On Tuesday, those winds become light and variable, seas 1 to 3 feet over all areas. On Wednesday, winds westerly at 10 to 15 knots, sea 2 to 4 feet, over the northwest Bahamas, light and variable seas 1 to 3 feet over the central and southeastern islands. Your tides. You can expect low tide 11:46 this morning. Next high tide comes at 5:55 this evening. Low again tomorrow morning at 9 minutes past midnight. Sunset 7:39 this evening. Rising one 6:32. UV index 8. Your water temperature 77 degrees Fahrenheit. Honeymoon phase first quarter. As we go to weak high pressure will be the dominant feature. Partly sunny skies, warm temperatures, light chance of shower at daytime. The temperature daytime will be in the mid to upper 80s at daytime, at nighttime in the lower 70s. That puts you up in your final look at weather at sunrise. I'm Godfrey Burnside. Back to you, Davriel.
Thanks, Godfrey. Candy Bums, a new sweet shop at the Point Margaritaville Beach Resort, is having a soft opening today. Here to tell us more is Dr. Sophia Rolle, principal of Candy Bums. Good morning.
Good morning.
And welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise. This is a big day for you.
Yes, it is. Thank you very much for having me on. I was supposed to be here with my daughter, who is the other principal in the company, but for some reason she couldn't be here. So I'm here to represent us, and yeah.
I'm sure you're going to do an excellent job. First things first, what is Candy Bums?
So Candy Bums is the newest, perhaps the only, candy store in Nassau at this time. We did our research and realized that that's something that we did not have here in Nassau, a full candy store. And so we decided that it's such a niche area that I think we would do well with it. And so we decided that we would open a candy store. And we were toying with some names because we are located in Margaritaville. And we get a lot of tourists that pass along there in various degrees of dress. That wasn't the reason for the name. But
Okay, I'm like, I mean, honest to goodness, it would make sense. You do, unfortunately, for better or worse, when you go down toward the west, past the Western Esplanade, you do see a fair share of beach bums.
Yes. So, Candy Bums is the name that we came up with. It's catchy, and we could have gone with Bahama Candies or something else, but Candy Bums sort of resonated with us, and so we decided to go with that name. And so we will be opening a very, very soft opening today. We wanted to be able to, one, work out some of the kinks. As with any other new business, you want to make sure that everything is running right. We're going to have Father Palacios is going to come in and say a little prayer for the space so that we can make sure that we are operating under the Lord's will. And so, yes, we will open today.
So you mentioned that you are in business with your daughter. So
Yes.
who came up with the idea for Candy Bums?
I want to take some credit for it, but we were both talking about it because we looked at the space. It's not a very, very big space. We looked at the space and said, what could we put in that space? And so we toyed with the idea of putting in some kind of makeup, but again, because of the nature of the foot traffic in that area, I said, Eboni, I think candies or ice cream would sell well in this area, given that we are so very warm. The property told us we couldn't do ice cream because they had their own ice cream shop around the corner. So we said, okay, we'll settle on candies. And so I came up with a few names. She came up with a few names, so we settled on the name that she came up with, so I'll give her the credit for the name Candy Bums. But the idea was both ours because we, again, looked at the market, determined that there wasn't a candy store anywhere in the vicinity, and there really wasn't the only other place I think that has a candy store or a candy presence to that extent is in the mall. They have a small kiosk that sells candy, and I understand there's something down at the detention center, believe it or not. And so
that's interesting.
That is interesting.
So this is full on just entrepreneurship, just finding that opening in the market and taking advantage of it.
Absolutely, absolutely. I teach marketing, so one of the things I also talk about and always talk about is looking to see what is not available and making sure you fill that gap. And so that is what we are doing with this store, and we're hoping that it is a success. Again, thousands of tourists, we're not only catering to tourists, by the way, but thousands of tourists traverse that area on their way to the beach. Thousands of children pass that way, and nothing is more attractive to a kid than candy.
Now I have to jump in here and ask, what kind of candy are you going to be selling?
Well, we're going to do a lot of the traditional kinds of candies. The thing is, we want to offer some local candy as well. Now, of course, we're going to go to Mortimer's, and Kale, I'm coming to you to get a variety of local candies from Mortimer. But if there are any other Bahamians in the space of candy, certainly we would want them to reach out to us. And that is, again, that is a niche area that I don't think Bahamians are really getting into. If I had the space, I'd probably make my own candy. But again, the apparatus, the infrastructure for candy development it's a lot and it's expensive. As it is, bringing in candy is very, very expensive. So I can understand. And I can understand the price points that a Mortimer Candy Kitchen, for example, charges. But we are appealing to Bahamians if they have a candy product that they would like for us to have in the store, please reach out to us.
So you mentioned, I know that it's at the point, but where exactly can people find you?
Okay, so there are some retail shops along the West Bay Street side of the point, just before you reach Junkanoo Beach.
Okay.
So we're the first unit just after Junkanoo Beach coming east. And I like to say across from Flowers building.
Yep.
That's his.
Easy
that's
to
his
find
block.
it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so we're number one. Number two is my gallery, which so that again right across the street. So I would have two businesses, if you will, side by side almost
love it.
right along the strip. And so we are inviting folks to make their way down there. The only unfortunate thing in that location is the challenge with parking. But of course, the point parking lot is there, and you can park there, walk down, because there are a number of retail stores down that way, and we will be open every day.
And what are the hours?
The hours are 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. every day, Monday through Sunday.
So you can always get your candy fix anytime.
Absolutely, and we wanted to open this month because, of course, this is the month for mothers, and we want to be able to treat the moms and the dads or whoever, the moms to be, with their selection of candy. And so we want to invite them to come on down, patronize this new business, this new sweet. We call it the sweetest shop the sweetest store in Nassau. So there's a little ring to that. That's our tagline, the sweetest store in Nassau. And so we're going to also be featuring a number of merchandise items, like the mug here, the Candy Bombs mug. And you could actually fill this up with your favorite candy for your mom for Mother's Day on the 14th. So we're going to invite you down to
come down
and see us.
That's wonderful. Congratulations.
Thank
This
you.
is excellent. I'm so glad to see the sweetest
store in Nassau. There you go.
Come on down to Candy Bombs. Dr. Rolle, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so very much for having me, and we welcome all of you.
And thank you for watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.
What do you want from a cloud solution? You want flexibility and edge? You want to modernize applications with the ability to deliver new ones with lightning speed. You want an infrastructure that's automated, secure, cost-effective, and scalable. You want to give the end user the freedom they want with the control you need. You can't get all that from just any cloud. You need something better. You need Bahamas Cloud. Contact the experts today at 601-8911 in Nassau or 602-8811 in the Family Islands.
Hi, I'm Ria Christina, and I'm super excited to be the new host of You and Your Money, a local international bank that has actually been closing some of their branches. It actually gives me an opportunity to share my views, my take on the financial matters. Even when we think about what's happening globally, we still have a lot of work to do in terms of having to educate business owners as to the importance, the economic impact, and how it is that we can look at improving the Bahamian economy. $1 billion. That's how much we spend every year importing food in this country. It also gives me an opportunity to have conversations, and that's meaningful conversations with thought leaders within our community, even having to see how it is that we can work together, or even the opportunities that may exist for many Bahamians. So I'm excited to be here and looking forward to the great conversations that's to come.
One thing, two things. Blue thing, whole things. Things that are small, things that are grand, things that fit just right, and in the palm of your hand. Fox Hill Nursery, a large selection of garden supplies. If you can see it in your mind, you can find it at Fox Hill Nursery.
fly
the islands of the Bahamas. Fly away.
Welcome back. May 5th is the International Day of the Midwife. It's a day of global recognition and celebration for the work of midwives. Here to talk with us about this are Dr. Shirley Curtis. She's an associate professor at the UB School of Nursing and the president of the Caribbean Regional Midwives Association. And we also have Miss Ella Anderson. She's the president of the Midwives Association of the Bahamas. Good morning and welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise, right?
Thank you. Thank you.
Good morning and thank you all for being here. And I thank you for being up with us dead early, although it feels like this is your time of morning, because as midwives, any time of day is fair game
anytime
for babies. So thank you for being here this morning.
So right.
I want to ask, what is the difference between a nurse and a midwife? That's my first question.
Okay, so a nurse is the entry level into the healthcare profession as it relates to nursing, whereas a midwife requires a little bit more training than a midwife, than a nurse. You can be a midwife and not be a nurse. But in the Bahamas, all of our midwives are nurses.
That sounds like an advantage, right? That sounds
It is, because then when you send a midwife out, you know that you also have a nurse in that body.
That's awesome. What is the role of the midwife?
As the name says, midwife means with women. And so the role of the midwife is to guide the pregnant mother. Actually, it started from the antenatal period, and antenatal meaning before the delivery. And so the midwife guides the mother from the antenatal period during the laboring process and even after the baby is born. And so that tells you how educated that person has to be, because you have to be able to, see all the danger signs and address them, and also give support to the woman during these times.
It's also a very personal interaction. You get to know
Yes.
your patient, you get to know the family.
Yes.
I'm not sure the setting is always within a hospital, but maybe you're sometimes in the person's home or some other type of environment. But I imagine it's pretty personal, right?
Yes, it is. But for us here in the Bahamas, it's basically in the hospital. Now we are getting away. There are persons who are requesting home births. And if you remember, maybe you may be a little too young to remember, but back in the day, delivering babies at home was a norm,
right,
particularly in the Family Islands.
Right.
And so a lot of persons, because we are into this natural thing now, are making requests for that again. And so I can see us going in that direction. As a matter of fact, Dr. Curtis is in that area of giving that kind of service to mothers who don't want to come to the hospital.
Yeah, so, I have 4 children, or my wife and I, we have 4 children. Right? I didn't just do it by myself. And that discussion did come up, where, the hospital is obviously a familiar setting, the doctors and nurses and everyone are there. But also, you feel like, hey, maybe I want to be in my home or some other customized setting that doesn't seem as quote unquote sterile as a hospital. I mean, I'm sure you imagine that. You encounter that pretty regularly. So I'm happy to hear that you're considering that going forward. You mentioned earlier that there's a difference in training between being a nurse and a midwife. Just tell us a little bit about that additional training that a midwife gets.
So a midwife now, on top of the 3 years that she would have gotten as a nurse, there's an additional 18 months where they cover those same areas that Ella talked about a few minutes ago. So we teach them the normal for antenatal, how to detect problems, what to do if you come across a problem, how to deliver, and I always say babies deliver themselves. So you assist the mother in her process of delivery, and to take care of that mother after she has delivered and guide her through that 6 weeks period. So that training includes pediatrics, it includes neonatal resuscitation, it includes detection, and we work in tandem with our OBGYNs as a part of the training, so that the training is quite extensive.
That's awesome.
And compact.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Tell us about the Midwives Association of the Bahamas. Who are the members, and what do you guys do?
Okay.
Are you ladies? Or it might be men midwives. Who knows, right?
Well, there is such a thing.
Yes, yes. Well, the Midwives Association is a group of midwives that came together some over 17 years ago. And we decided that as midwives, if we come together, we can improve our services. Also, it helps us to keep on the cutting edge. And so we seek ways to keep ourselves educated. I noticed you said that I was the president, but I am the immediate past president.
Okay.
The president now is Ms. Andrea Nordich. And so I'm here representing. But like I said, the Midwives Association, we seek ways to keep ourselves current and also to encourage ourselves so that, because during the laboring process and all the education that we give, sometimes it could be taxing.
Yes.
And with the internet, persons go on the internet and they get information. And so we have to also seek to have that information as well. So when they come, we can dispel some myths. And we can also give them the proper education that they need, also the guidance, and also to help them to recognize complications so we're able to direct them in the right direction.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
May 5th, most people think of Cinco de Mayo, right?
No.
But we're talking about the International Day of the Midwives,
Day,
right?
yes.
You have an event coming up. Can you tell us a little about it?
Yes. So the International Confederation of Midwives, which is the governing body for all midwifery groups, they normally set the theme each year for what it is that we will celebrate that year. So this year, it's Together Again, from evidence to reality. Together Again meaning after COVID, most of us were on virtual platforms. For the last 3 years, all of our conferences were virtual. And so this year, we're not over COVID, but we have come through it, right? And so we are together again, and we are focusing on the evidence and the research that has been done. So for us in the Bahamas, we decided to highlight our midwives who have been doing presentations, who have completed master's degrees and had to do papers and presentations. We are using them to come in and to present face-to-face again, together again, from evidence to reality.
Fantastic. Is this event open to the public, and who should attend?
No, it's not open to the public. It is for midwives. We're really celebrating the midwives. It is for the members of the Midwives Association, but midwives in general in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, bringing them together, as Ella said, to educate and to motivate. Because, we work hard all year, one day to say, celebrate us.
It's just for you, right?
Yes.
Before we wrap up, for those who don't know what midwives do and they're hearing about this May 5th International Day for Midwives, what's the one thing we can do as the Bahamian public to truly celebrate the work of midwives? Anyway, go ahead.
Truly celebrate the work of midwives. Every person has had a midwife. And so if you know your midwife, you can call her up.
Go find her.
And find her. You can give her a thank you. Or just, if you don't know your midwife, you can just send a shout out to all the midwives and say, Happy Midwives Day. Thank you for bringing me here, especially if you're smart.
Well, as we wrap, I'm going to say that now. Thank you to all of the midwives here in the Bahamas and the world over for bringing us here. My second son was born at a midwifery center, so I love you guys. You all are fantastic. It was a very comfortable experience. And maybe, we don't get in trouble with my wife, but maybe if there's another one.
There you go.
Yes. And so we'd like to thank you both for joining us this morning at Bahamas at Sunrise, celebrating midwives here in the Bahamas. You enjoy your day, and we look forward to seeing you in the future.
Thank you for having us.
So much. You're watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.
What do you want from a cloud solution? You want flexibility and edge? You want to modernize applications with the ability to deliver new ones with lightning speed. You want an infrastructure that's automated, secure, cost-effective, and scalable. You want to give the end user the freedom they want with the control you need. You can't get all that from just any cloud. You need something better. You need Bahamas Cloud. Contact the experts today at 601-8911 in Nassau or 602-8811 in the Family Islands.
One thing, two things. Blue thing, all things. Things that are small, things that are grand, things that fit just right and in the palm of your hand. Fox Hill Nursery, a large selection of garden supplies. If you can see it in your mind, you can find it at Fox Hill Nursery.
It has been a fabulous Monday today on Bahamas at Sunrise. We talked to some really interesting people. I think we did the spectrum. We talked about the labor force. We talked about labor by way of midwife. We had Candy Bombs, the newest sweet shop in Nassau, and then
the Civil Society Bahamas, right?
Yeah.
So we had a full morning. The first Monday of May is just about done, but you have a full day left. Go forward and conquer the Monday and have a great week, and we look forward to seeing everybody on Friday, right? See you on Friday.
Have you seen it?